Hey everybody, I'm Lance Janes. Happy Friday and happy now. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And today I want to talk about something that Wayne Dyer had taught me. Wayne Dyer was one of my greatest teachers. I highly recommend, if you haven't read any of his things or listened to some of his audiobooks, definitely check him out. I was fortunate to get to meet him before he passed away, but just a huge influence in my life. And he talked about 6 lies that the ego or the false self tells us. And I just kind of want to go through these lies and kind of share ways that we can learn to transcend them. And that's what it's about. Like he also said that the ego stood for edging God out or earth guide only. And those are great ways to view it. But ego is not something we need to fight against. It's not something we need to resist. And that's what a lot of our resistance in life comes from, the ego. A lot of us are swimming upstream, let's face it. We're making life a lot more difficult than we need to. And that's because of the ego. And the ego tells us these lies. And in order to transcend this 3D reality and to get to your higher self, higher living, you have to learn to minimize the control of the ego. It's not about eliminating the ego, it's about eliminating its control over your life. And as long as we believe these lies, then we're stuck in a way. The first lie that the ego tells us is, I am what I have. And I am what I have. The Bible says the root of money, the love of money is the root of all evil. And, it's not that money's bad. It's not that possessions are bad. It's when we are attached to it. And that's what that scripture talks about. We need to learn to not be attached to our thoughts, to be grateful for them. But if we believe that lie, if we get puffed up, stuff is great. I'm not saying having stuff is bad. That's fantastic. I hope everyone can be prosperous and abundant in every way, shape, or form. It's when we think that that's who we are. If you see someone driving another car that's nice, like, oh, wow, that person, we view them as higher up than us. And we do the same with people and less fortunate. That's just ego. Those are ego games. None of that is real. But as long as you're attached to and you build your identity around your things, what happens if you lose your things? Then who are you? We have to learn to transcend that. The second lie the ego tells us is, I am who I am is what I do and what I accomplish. We get attached to this part of our ego, and we're trained from an early age. In school, what do we learn in school and youth sports? Like you get praise for doing well. A lot of times you get punished for not doing well, or you don't get the praise. But we're taught at a young age that because I accomplished this, I'm better than this person. And those are all games of the ego. And when we get attached to what it is that we do, what are you going to do when you retire? When you meet someone new, like when we interact, like one of the first things that comes up when we as humans try to feel each other out is, what do you do? I do this, I do this. As long as we're attached to that, what happens when you retire? I used to work in retirement planning, and that was one of the things that, they focus on the most for people, because when you retire, think about going to a party. How do you introduce yourself? If you're attached to your ego, and I know people personally that have lost jobs and their ego was so wrapped up in it, unfortunately, like they took their own life. Like, we're not our jobs. Our jobs can go away, our accomplishments, they can all be taken away from us, and they don't define who we are. So that's another lie, that you are what you do. You're not your title, you're not your profession. Those are parts of you, and they're wonderful parts of you, but that's not who you are. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, not the other way around. We're loving energy. That's all that we are. So don't get attached to that lie. Don't believe that lie. You're not what you do or accomplish. Number 3, I am what others think of me. Everyone's always going to have another opinion, okay? And this is one of the things that probably has held me back the most, and it holds probably most people back the most, and steals the most joy in our life, is the good opinion of other people. And one of the things that's kind of helped me learn to transcend it and be more aware, at least, is to be able to love everyone and just understand that while we're all on the same journey to this higher self, to this awakening, to our best version of ourselves, whatever you want to call it, we're all on that path, but we're at different places on the path. And other people operate maybe from a fearful place because of an experience they've had, and they tend to project that onto you. You have to learn to be accepting of the good opinion of other people freely. Just don't take it on. Everyone's always going to have an opinion, and as long as you're looking externally as to how to live your life, if other people's opinions are directing your actions, then you're buying into that lie. You have to be true to yourself. Being your authentic self is scary, but as long as you're ruled by the good opinion of other people, you can't really get past that. The fourth lie, I'm separate from everyone else. This is a common lie, and the byproducts of the ego, when we think we're separate from others, we do what? We compete with others. Look at all the war and stuff around the world, the separateness. We view ourselves as separate from others. Deep down, we're all the same. We're all part of the same being. We're all part of nature. We're all part of this world. And there's a part of you inside of everyone else. Society, media, everything today, we're so polarized, and we're taught to look at how we're different. We must focus on how we're all the same and not view others as separate from us, because we're all the same. We're all part of the same body, universe, same song, one song. And some of the things that the ego does when it views it's separate from others is competition. Wants to win. I got to be first. Put others down. Dominate others. Control others. We just have to learn to deprogram it. Those are some symptoms, you know. Those are byproducts of the ego. When we think we're separate from others, we get in that scarcity mentality. There's not enough to go around. Oh, I got to hoard. Look at no further than the toilet paper stuff. Those are all egos. Operation out of the ego. The fifth lie, I am separate from what's missing in my life. As long as we view things in our life as separate, as out there, wanting things, we're affirming the absence of them. And that's a big part of the law of attraction, and it's tough to understand, and it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of practice. You have to change the way that you talk and the way that you think. But as long as we view something as out there, we're affirming that it's not here. Quit saying things like, I'm going to have this. I need this relationship that's not here to make me whole. You know, we're putting things out there. Everything comes from inside you. Everything comes from inside you, and you have to learn to love yourself fully now in this moment. You will never get to a better version of yourself until you love and accept yourself right now as you are, and that's a rule. You have to do that. Learn to love yourself now. Everything is happening now. There's no yesterday. There's no tomorrow. That's why I say that at the end of the videos. Can't be happy yesterday. You can't be happy tomorrow. Yesterday is not real. Nobody can go back to it. When it happened in a now moment. Tomorrow, technically Saturday, but guess what? When you're there, it's just another now. Life happens right now. Things are not separate. Quit saying I'm gonna be. Talk differently. Change your talk track. Say more affirming things. I'm attracting this into my life. I am bringing this into my life. That ego tells you that lie, that you're separate from things that are missing in your life, and that's not true. Love yourself today and visualize those things. Surround yourself. Think from the end. You know, we're supposed to really close our eyes and visualize what you want in life. Visualize how it will make you feel. That's the quicker way to manifesting, as opposed to viewing things as separate. Close your eyes and have the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The feeling is a big part of it, the emotion. That's what helps connect us to source and attract more things that we want. Number 6, I'm separate from God. You know, a lot of us view God as separate, as a guy up in the sky, the vending machine in the sky. We fail to realize, and it's all throughout the Bible. I mean, it talks about in prayer, like to go into the innermost room of the temple. It's not talking about a physical room in a temple. It's about talking about going inside. We're all divine. We're living miracles. There's so much about us that we don't understand. And we just have to know that we are connected with Source. And going inside and meditating is going to allow you to better do that. When you view God as separate from you, as out there, you're limiting yourself. And that's just a lie of the ego. We're all living miracles. From how we're conceived to whatever, like we are living miracles. So whatever your view of God is, I know everyone has different views, call it universe, call it whatever, but you're not separate from it. It's part of you, and learn to tap into that. All right, these are 6 lies that the ego tells us, and it's about us individually transcending. The more that you change, the more that I change, the more that we're both aware, that we're all aware of our egos and learn to transcend that. We're going to collectively raise not only our individual vibrational level, but it will reach to others too, and it will elevate us all on a global level. So just work to be aware of these and realize that you're not your things. You're not what you do or accomplish. What others think of you doesn't define you. You're not separate from anyone, and you're not separate from God. Thanks, everybody. Have a happy weekend and a happy now, because you can't be happy yesterday. You can't be happy tomorrow. Thanks.